again. All right. So, hi everyone. Hi Jyoti ji. Good evening. Hi everyone. Good evening once again, and welcome to the webinar. We'll start by 7 2 p.m. because the participation is kind of low today, and I believe it's because of the timing. Maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm hoping to see 400 plus teachers again on call today, as and when we proceed with the webinar, right? Again, good evening everyone once again. Just a little patience for another minute or so, and we'll quickly start with the webinar for today. Before that, as we always go ahead with our webinars, talking about a little ice breaking sessions, right? What do you think of the topic for today? There is a topic on the screen, for all of you, right? Discovering your potential as a teacher. What do you think the topic is all about? I've already given clues from my end, I know, but yeah, maybe your thoughts, the first thing which came to your mind, that we will discuss, this particular thing in today's webinar. So, what are your thoughts? And I want everybody to reply. You might be wrong, you might be right, you might be so wrong, you might be just speaking something illogical or logical. I don't care. The important thing is to respond, right? So be honest and just respond very honestly, everyone, that what do you think about the topic for today? What was the first word or the first thing, which came to your mind when you read the topic on the screen, right? Navjot ji, again, once again, very, very good evening. And thank you so much for attending the webinar today. Jyoti ji, hi again. I remember you from the previous webinars. Pleasure to have you here again, ma'am. So any responses on the same what I asked right now? Anyone can respond, it's an open question, so anybody can respond, right? Any responses? What do you think for the topic for today, which is on the screen? The first word or the first topic which came to your mind, that okay, this is the webinar topic and this is what we all will be learning, for today. Hi Parul ji, good evening, welcome to the webinar. Any idea? Any responses? Not even a single response? Oh, okay. No worries, Jyoti ji. Jyoti ji, what you can do is you can connect to the support team of the homework app. So the team will help you, with the same. Hi, Gurpreet ji. Hi, Vinitha ji. Okay, well, I have a question for all of you. Teachers, come on. Active. It's a webinar. It's a 1 hour webinar. Let's not make it boring, yeah? Hi, Viranjanya ji. Okay, Manasi ji has a response. As a teacher, where we find ourselves, are we giving our best, and areas where we need to improvise? Exactly, definitely. Thank you so much for the response. Hi, Navjot ji. Good evening. Hi, Harmanjot ji. Hi, Rashmi ji. Hi, everyone. Good evening once again. Okay, so since I'm not, I'm seeing that the teachers are a bit inactive. I understand. Maybe because of the long day they had before this webinar, right? Anyways, so discovering your potential as a teacher, right? It is the topic for today's webinar. And just before starting the session, just a little expectation setting. Okay, we should become a role model to find or learn something. As a teacher, what is that we should know, in which area we need to improve, potential of every individual. Oh, all right. I don't agree totally with all the responses, but yeah, somewhere very, very close. And again, I'm very glad that you all responded. Okay. Just a second. I think somebody annotated on my content a little. Let me stop the annotation option. Yep, I have stopped the annotation option. And sorry, for my unpleasant, or let's say the not so tidy look for today, because it's a long day for me as well. Really didn't get time to, comb my hair or be presentable. Well, anyways, I'll just present the PPT. So any other response on discovering your potential as a teacher? Positive thoughts make a positive environment. Don't be afraid to ask anything. If I'll disconnect, unfortunately, this is my email. All right, Jyotiji, fine, no worries. Potential of every individual as a teacher. What is that we should know, in which area we need to improve? Okay, all right. Again, a good response would say that. All right. I hope you all can see my screen right now. Yeah, it's visible and it's perfect for everyone. Yeah, definitely, Ramya ji. As a teacher, we should use a potential, to bring value to the world around us. When anyone appreciate the teacher's work or duty, yes, Faguni ji, definitely, definitely. A good teacher should be enthusiastic learner. Exactly, Nisha ji. Definitely, definitely. Excellent responses. All right. Again, wouldn't say that I agree with all the responses, before what I read right now. But yeah, again, very close to what we are trying to understand in today's webinar and something very useful as well. So, not wasting any further time and quickly starting with the topic for today. Expectation setting for today's webinar is that discovering your potential as a teacher basically focuses on an individual's understanding, of themselves, right? So again, before I start with the webinar, I just want to make it very clear what we are trying to learn in today's webinar. How do you discover your potential? You don't discover your potential by doing 10 things. Yes, you do. But before that, there are certain other things, which you need to do in order to reach, that level of potential which we are talking about. What we are going to learn today is a little, about the human psychology and how self awareness, is a very important concept which falls under the larger arena of emotional intelligence, and how EI or emotional intelligence is a very, very important subject or topic, not only to be understood by students, but also to be understood by teachers to improve their potential in classes and otherwise, in their daily lives. All right. That is basically the expectation setting or what we are going to learn, in today's webinar. All right. Definitely self evaluation, Parulji. That's the exact point I was telling right now. One teacher should be updated in all the areas and should be a little entertainer too. Definitely, Jyotiji. That's a very good response. Thank you. So again, as now moving ahead with the webinar, okay, before we move ahead, we know how it goes. A little message from the homework app and team to all of you. Participation certificates for every webinars are given to the teachers, right? So if you're attending this webinar or the other webinars, you are entitled to a participation certificate. And how will you get the certificate is basically by filling the feedback form during the end of the webinar. So by 8 p.m. I'll send you a feedback link, or let's say a form link. Filling that form will give you your certificates within 24 hours via emails. Okay. Second thing is Smart Teacher Festival, which is again a kind of a competition or an opportunity which the homework app gives to the teachers, who indulge with the application. So how you can participate in the festival and what is it exactly, we'll discuss more about it during the end of the webinar. All right. Okay. Moving ahead with the topic, right? So before we talk about emotional regulation, human psychology, discovering potential, self-awareness, we need to understand, the basics. Okay. What is the basic thing which we need to understand before we talk further? Is this: a teacher is nobody but an individual, right? Every professional, every doctor, every lawyer, every teacher is no one but an individual. An individual is someone who is a human being, right? Simple human being. And a human being means you are characterized with a plethora of emotions in your daily lives, loads of emotions, loads of thoughts, running through your mind. And since we are a human being and we are characterized with a lot of emotions, something to understand is emotions regulate, our personality and our being, right? So this is just a small flowchart which I created on my own. Being a student of psychology, right? Being a student of psychology earlier, I have a little understanding, on how there are certain basic things, which need to be tapped upon, by the individuals, right? So again, just explaining the flowchart again. Every teacher, every professional is an individual. At the core, you are all, you, I, everyone is a human being. And being a human being means we are characterized with a plethora or loads of emotions. And having loads of emotions means if you don't regulate it, if you don't systematize your emotions in the right manner, it will not give you the best of the personality or the best of your being. So right now, if you are seen, as someone or something in your school or in your at your homes, it all depends, upon the amount of regulation, you do for your emotions. That's very, very important, right? So understanding this before we move ahead is something which is very essential. All right. All right. Okay. uh Coming to the crux, of our discussion for today, that is emotional intelligence. Now, I know this word might be, you all might be familiar with this word before, or some of you might be hearing it for the first time today, right? But what I'm trying to say is, the things which we are going to discuss in today's webinar might be the most basic of things, might be something very, very new for you as well. But you have to understand that webinar is not about, something new or out of the box. Webinars are always about reinforcing the knowledge, which we already have, or which we are wanting to develop, in our daily lives, right? And reinforcing the importance via the webinars again and again makes our brains, catch up those kind of topics, those kinds of emotions, again and again. And when we catch up, okay, when our brains, work in that manner, when our brains catch up with these things again and again, we see and hear the same things again and again, we tend to practice it, we tend to implement the things in our daily lives. And that is what, webinars, are all about. And again, coming to back to the emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence, otherwise known as emotional quotient or EQ, which is the short form, is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others in situations, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. All right. So, what emotional intelligence in simple terms, okay, means is, हर एक इंसान, okay, every human being has hundreds of emotions. We have fear, we have guilt, we have surprise, we have love, we have hatred, we have jealousy, right? Hundreds and thousands of emotions are there in our minds, which comes at once. Emotional intelligence means how intelligent, how controllable, how manageable you are emotionally, you are mentally, on a psychological level, that you can understand, which emotion you are facing, you can manage your emotions. If you are facing anger, you have to understand, why am I angry, how to manage my anger, how to manage my anger in a positive way without hurting any other people or any other a person or thing which is in front of me, how to communicate my emotions effectively. Many people, they have the understanding ki, okay, this is what I am facing, this is what I want, but they're not able to communicate it well. They don't find the right words, they don't find the right gestures, or the right emotions to express it, right? Many a people don't know how to empathize with others. They can't show empathy. So if someone died and you're going to a funeral, you're not able to shed your tears, you're not able to cry, you're not able to show your emotions of grief as well. You're not able to empathize, you're just not able to do that. That means there's somewhere, a lack of emotional regulation in you. You're not able to resolve conflicts on your own, you're not able to act maturely. All these things, are somewhere connected deep down, it is connected to one point of emotions. Emotions means on a psychological level, when your hormones change, when your brain activity change, when the current flow, in the nerves change, right? How effectively you are able to manage the same is what is your emotional intelligence. And as a teacher, as a working professional, it is very, very important to understand, okay, why we have to be emotionally intelligent. If you're not able to regulate your own emotions, if you're not emotionally intelligent, how can you even expect that the student sitting in front of you should listen to you, or they should manage their emotions effectively in class, right? So again, what you preach to other people has to be first practiced and implemented on your own self. If I am preaching the topics like emotional intelligence today, it's because it's something I practice in my daily life as well. And we'll discuss more about the same, how do I practice the same. All right. Before moving ahead with the topic, I want to ask all of you whether the meaning of emotional intelligence is clear right here, because we are going to discuss a few things on the same. And if you don't understand the meaning, if I proceed with the webinar without you understanding the meaning, it will just be jargons and jargons, and more of jargons ahead. So, is the meaning clear? Is the explanation clear? Everyone. And again, the recording of the webinar will be there on the YouTube channel of the application. So don't worry if you have missed any part of it. All right. I'm trying to go slow and I'm trying to explain in the most simplest form, because this is kind of a psychological term, and the chapters. Okay. So you have to listen to it very carefully. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your responses. Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand is when we talk about emotional regulation or emotional intelligence, which is the term, okay, emotional intelligence basically has two models. Okay, दो models है इसमें. First model is this one, which you will see on Google. All right. First model is this one, जिसमें कि we have four components under emotional intelligence. We have self awareness, we have self management, we have social awareness, and then we have social skills or social management. Okay. The second model we have is this, which has five components. All right. So again, none of the models is right, none of the models is wrong. The second model which I'm showing is basically the original model, which became famous in 1995. Okay, the second model has five components right here. The four components which are discussed in the previous slide, plus another component of motivation. All right. So if you search about emotional intelligence, if you want to think and talk about emotional intelligence, understand that there are two models. One is with five components, one with four components. Okay. Again, the five component model is the original model, which was preached by this particular person, as you see on the screen. Okay. EI gained popularity in 1995 with the release of Daniel Goleman's book called Emotional Intelligence. Now, again, how did emotional intelligence actually came into picture? The particular term was there since 1960s, but it became famous and it became a term, for people's awareness after this particular author, Daniel Goleman, released his book of emotional intelligence in 1995. Clear? Daniel Goleman has a book of emotional intelligence, which, am I not audible? Okay. Am I not audible, everyone? Navjot ji and Parul ji can't hear me. So just confirming once, is my voice not clear? Am I not audible? Audible, right? Yeah, it's clear. It's clear to everyone. Okay, then they have network issues, I guess. No worries. All right, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So much for the response. All right. Okay. So basically, what I was talking about was Daniel Goleman's book of emotional intelligence. In that book, Daniel Goleman sir said that emotional intelligence model has five components. And as you see on the screen right now, these are the five components he talked about. Self-awareness is the first component. Self-regulation or self-management is the second component. Social awareness, right? Or empathy, which we were talking about, is again the third component. And there was another component which you talked about, in the last slide, that is social skills. Okay. So all the four components are the same in both the models. There's just one extra, okay, that is motivation, or you can consider people skills, okay, as the extra one. Okay. Now, coming back to the model and explaining the same. What does the model imply? What does each section of it says? And why it is very important for you as a teacher in the 21st century to understand the importance and the meaning of emotional intelligence in depth and to regulate your emotions as well, so that you discover your 100% potential and also deliver it to the class. Okay, the first component of emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, that is EI or EQ, okay, is self awareness. Self awareness is nothing but knowing one's own self. We all think, that okay, I know myself, I know that if I do this, I'll become, sad, or if he or she says this to me, I'll become angry. But the question is, do we really know ourselves? Do self-awareness really just means, such a small thing, or does self-awareness means a lot of things in our life, that if I behave in a certain manner, if I get angry when he or she says or speaks to me, let's say rudely, and if I become angry on that, why is that I'm becoming angry? Maybe it's because I'm not mature enough. Maybe it's because I've seen my parents in my childhood, reacting in a certain manner, which has left a very deep impact on my mind, and I just lash out on people, when they come to me, in this particular perspective, or when they try to share things with me. Again, self awareness has a very, very vast arena which covers a lot of things about an individual's emotions, what emotions you have, what emotions you face the most, which are the emotions you regulate on a daily basis. Do you think you are trying to regulate your emotions? All these questions, fall under the self awareness arena, right? Self management, again, how much control do you have on your own self if you are in a public space and your child has, let's say, broken a particular let's say bottle or a particular, I don't know, utensil, right? Maybe the child broke something by mistake and you are in a public space. You might have seen there are many parents who start shouting at the child, who start beating the child in front of all the people on the road or in front of the entire school or the class. Now you tell me, is it a right attitude? And the parents who are doing this may or may not be at fault, but is it the right way to conduct oneself? Are they really managing themselves or managing their emotions? Tell me this, a yes or a no. Any responses on the same? No, no, exactly. They're not, right? They're just not managing. Okay, is it the right way to behave? It's not. If a teacher also, if you as a teacher also, it is, kind of shrugging, shrugging a student in front of, let's say, 100 people, or let's say 10, 20 teachers. Sometimes teacher thinks, that maybe if I make the students, a little ashamed in front of everyone, he or she will become more aware of how to conduct himself or herself in the classes or in the school, right? But that's again not a very good initiative to go ahead with. You never, oh my god, again somebody's handwriting on the content. All right, no worries, no worries, I'll turn the option off. I think I shared again, the option vanished. All right, annotate. All right, yeah, the settings are perfect now. Okay. So again, I think the screen is yet to be visible, or it's visible to everyone. Okay, yeah, it's visible, I think. All right. So again, these kind of behaviors, where we lash out in front of people, in front of everyone, maybe our husband, our wives, our children, our school children, other teachers, other colleagues, right? Not a very good example, of emotional regulation or self-awareness or self-regulation, right? Sometimes it might have happened that, you as a teacher might have faced, some very rude or some very hard words, from your other colleagues as well. Maybe a teacher who is more experienced than you behaves in a very rude, or in a very indifferent manner with you, and it might make you feel very bad. But maybe rather than lashing out on the teacher on face, if you are self-aware and if you are regulating your emotions very well, what you will do is you will maybe call the teacher, maybe that, ma'am, sir, can I have a talk with you, for 5 minutes, and can we go to the side? Maybe you take them to the side, and tell all your problems in private, rather than shouting out, or lashing out in public, and making it an entire school's issue, whether all it is, okay, is just a private issue. Yeah. So that is again the next concept, of self management, or self regulation, what we are trying to talk about. Moving on to our third topic. Okay, so moving on to a third topic is social awareness, right? That is the third compartment under emotional intelligence, or the EI. Okay, social awareness is basically about, understanding your environment. All right. If you are a school teacher, if you are, let's say, a professor, it's very important that you understand, how your environment in school works, right? If you are trying to blame these students, for behaving in a manner that, oh, did you saw that student outside school that day? He was consuming drugs. Oh, did you saw that student outside school that day? She was with, one of her boyfriends. So these kind of things, when teachers say, when teachers talk to each other, I think again it's not a very right way of conducting yourself as a teacher, because students too have their own personal lives, right? Okay, wait, is there some disturbance, is there? Oh, my voice is cracking. All right, just give me 1 second. Okay, is my voice okay now? It's cracking still. I'll remove my earphones if it's cracking still. Tell me, is the voice okay now, or was the voice okay before? Earphones or without earphones? It's okay now, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think it's some of you, facing network issues. I don't know if it's on my end or yours, because many people are saying my voice is fine. Many are saying it's breaking. So I hope it's clear for all right now. And yeah, if I can proceed, let me know. Because I think the camera and the internet is working fine on my end. I'm seeing, but yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. I think it's a network issue on your end, so please just check it once again. Yeah. My net is working fine. I have a very good internet connection right now. So yeah, by God's graces. Anyways, thank you so much for the information. Uh, the third thing, as I said, we were talking about was social awareness, right? Social awareness is basically, getting aware about your own environment, right? You have to be very, very aware, what is happening in and around you, because only when you're aware, of how the people around you are, it gives you a right perspective of how to manage your emotions or how to manage yourself, in front of those, individuals, or in front of those people, right? Again, social awareness, devotes to that kind of, arena or that aspect. When we talk about social skills is more about, how do you inspire others, right? Your leadership skill is basically your social skills. So again, people say that leaders are born, but no, I don't agree. I think leaders are made as well. Maybe some are born leaders, but it's not never too late, to make yourself a leader too. So leaders are made as well. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So leaders are made, as well. So that is basically what your social skills are. How you are good at collaborating with people, group work, group activities, social collaboration. How better you are at it. How good you are at it. How better you are at in negotiating with people. If you want something from other people, how good you are at demanding the same from them. How are you able to influence other people, or about your leadership skills, etc. Right? So these are basically the four compartments, of emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, that is EI or EQ. Again, moving to the five component model, the four components are the same as the last model. Just explaining the one last component is your people skill and motivation together. People skills and motivation is basically how good you are at, as I said, in connecting with people, in in making the components, let's say, fall into place righteously, right? So if you are having a conflict in your school, or if you are facing any kind of, let's say, social social restraint, how good you are at handling, is what we are trying to talk about, here, in the case of the five attribute model. All right. So again, these are the four or the five attribute of the okay. All right. Is my voice fine now? Everyone, is my voice fine now? I turned off my camera because so many of you, had complaints that my voice is cracking. But do let me know if it's fine now. I turned off my camera. Is it cracking still? Let me try with the earphones again. Um, is it fine now? Everyone, is it loud and is it clear, or it's cracking still? Many of you are saying it's good, it's clear, and many of you are saying it's cracking. I am I'm so confused right now. All right, it's perfect. All right, it's perfect. Again, more 5 6 responses, and I'll just proceed ahead with whatever is the response. All right, it's fine now. Clear? Cool, cool, cool. Everyone, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. Maybe it was a problem on my end. Thank you so much. ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay. So right now we just discussed, about emotional intelligence, and the four compartments, of the same, right? Again, as you can see on the screen right now, studies have shown that people with a high emotional intelligence have greater mental health, job performance, and leadership skills, although no causal relationship has been shown. Now, this is a short paragraph, which I took from, a recent research on emotional intelligence. EI is typically associated with empathy because it involves an individual connecting their personal experiences with those of others. Since its popularization in recent decades, methods of developing EI have become widely sought by individuals seeking to become more effective leaders. So, what this paragraph, or what the text basically means to say is, in the recent years, okay, if you have noticed, people are talking, more and more about things like, pedagogy, a child psychology, self awareness, developing your potential as a teacher, All these topics are talked about more and more in the webinars because at the core, at the crux, people fail to realize, that you are what you think. You are what you opt to think, right? So whatever you think becomes your attitude. Whatever becomes your attitude starts reflecting in your behavior, and the way you behave is basically the way you show or represent yourself, okay, to the outside world, right? And that is what makes your personality as a teacher or as a professional. Okay, so again, understanding this is very, very important. That why emotional intelligence, what are the four compartments of it, what are the four things or five things I need to regulate my mind on, right? So you can think differently on each and every compartment. Okay, moving ahead with the presentation. All right, this is a research based self awareness questionnaire. Okay, it's verified, it's reliable in nature. It's actually a psychological activity, which is done in the workshops. Since I don't have that much of time right here in the webinar, we will not do the activity, but I want all of you to watch the recording later or take a screenshot right now and do this activity after the webinar, maybe tonight whenever you are free. It's a self awareness questionnaire. Okay, it might seem very childish to you, but it's a research based questionnaire which has been developed. And you have to adopt these kinds of questionnaire in your daily, on a weekly or on a monthly basis, to understand where do you lag exactly, where are the emotional gaps, where are the tough points in your life. Maybe you know the answer, or maybe you have never thought about it. These questions will make you think about all those points, and make you more and more self-aware, to make you more and more understand yourself a little better. And it's important, that you do this at least, on a weekly or on a monthly basis, right? So this is the first slide of introduce yourself. The second slide is about what happened, right? So what problems, concerns, etc. So these questions are based on those kind of things, your deeper feelings, your subconscious feelings, psychological feelings. The third slide, or the questionnaire which I'm going to show you, is about the family environment. Again, I have just put 20 questions right here, for your idea. So if you can see on the screen, and if you read some of the questionnaire, you will get an idea, what kind of questions are asked, whenever you go for a self awareness or psychology workshop. All right, so if you haven't taken a screenshot or haven't read any of the questions, I'll stop 2 minutes. Okay, I want you all to read at least one or two questions. These questions make you think, right? And it's very important that you maintain a small journal, or a diary, to write the answers to these questions and to see if they are changing over time, right? um this is what happened in the family you grew up in your childhood. So I just put 20 questions right here because, again, as I told, it's a workshop which we conduct with schools and children. But since it's not a workshop right now, I don't really have the time to conduct it. Otherwise, I would have loved to carry this activity with you all right now. All right, anyways, so I'll just copy paste the link. I have the link right here for the full questionnaire, right? And I'll just copy paste the link for the full questionnaire in the chat box so that you can access it later as well. Just copy paste it in the chat box. You can access it later as well. Do try to attempt the questionnaire, and to maintain a journal, for the same. Preeti ji, don't worry. I'm sharing the link only. I'm sharing the link only. Okay, link for the full questionnaire is in the chat box, everyone. Please go through this link. It has around 70 to 80 questions. Again, very important to conduct these kind of activities with yourself as well. It might not seem very, very important, but research has shown, books have shown, classic books which are written by great authors like Dale Carnegie, etc., have shown that assessment of one's own self is as important as assessment of others. Being a teacher, you assess hundreds of students out there daily, but what about your own assessment? Who will assess you? It's you who will assess you, right? If I am so self-aware right now, if I'm able to regulate my emotions, it's because I do these kind of activities, which helps me to regulate it well. I know myself, I know my dark sides, I know my weaker sides, I know my strengths. It's because you write it down, from time to time. And when you write it down from on monthly or on a quarterly basis, you come to know that, okay, I have developed in these aspects. These are my recent developments. And it also, oh, really, Pariji? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's great. That's great. Dale Carnegie is like wow, wow. I don't know if you are referring to the same author as I, but yeah, Dale Carnegie is someone I really really love. There are other authors as well, whose books I find very very interesting actually. Anyways, again, a topic for another time, I think. But yeah, that's great to hear that someone connects with me on this aspect. So the link for the questionnaire is in the chat box. Do copy paste the link somewhere and go through it, later. It's very important, that you go through it. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Pariji. I understand. Okay. I'll just copy paste the links for the questionnaire once again. Go through it later. It's a research based thing from ResearchGate. It's a reliable source. You all can follow it if you want. Moving a little ahead with the topic, self-awareness, right? Self-awareness basically leads, to pointing out one's own emotional gaps, right? Where do I have emotional gaps? Maybe right now I think as a person that okay, I am Harsha, and Harsha is a very emotionally regulated individual. But maybe the reality is, when looked from the other person's perspective, I am the most horrible kind of human being, or I'm the most horrible kind of person to stay with, okay, whenever I get angry, right? So, again, perspectives is very, very important. Keep your mind open to think that whatever is going in my brain is just inside me. The millions of people outside in the world don't think like me, and they don't act like me, and they don't see things the way I do, right? You have to understand this very one basic thing. Okay. So again, if you are self-aware, if you know what are your potentials, how much potential you can have by removing your weaknesses, you can actually point out the emotional gaps as well, and you can work on those things, to make you an emotionally regulated person by practicing more and more. Again, a simple flowchart which I thought I'll create for all of you to understand, and connect how as a teacher, you connect to the human being and the psychology and emotional regulation, how self-awareness comes under emotional regulation, and then only by practicing you can actually attain it or achieve it. It's not a one day task, it's not a 1 hour task. It's something which you have to do over time, to gather those experiences. Yeah. All right. Now again, the question is how to exercise self-awareness, right? That's a big question. Okay, a question for all the teachers. Anybody of you on call right now who is practicing any kind of self-awareness or emotional regulation, practices? Anyone out of the 200 people on call, anybody who is practicing any of such things? And don't tell me you are emotionally regulated. Okay, nobody in this world, not even me, is 100% emotionally regulated. We all have so many emotional gaps, and so many psychological gaps we don't know about, and only when we jot it down with a pen and paper, we come to know, oh my god, this is there. Yes, I never thought of it in deep. Writing it down makes you think on it. When you read it again after 1 month, it makes you think again and makes you improve. So maintain a journal if you're attempting the questionnaire, which I sent all of you. So anyone, just a yes or a no can also help, anyone attempting any kind of practices relating to emotional intelligence? Smita ji says yes, yes, ma'am. Happens unsuccessful so many times. Yeah. But ma'am, isn't it also a question why you are unsuccessful so many times? It's just regulating your emotions, right? Again, that's a question too, we need to ask ourselves. No, okay, Raki ji says yes. Can you also please tell me which method or what practice do you all carry, maybe just one word in the chat box so I can connect that okay, these kind of emotional intelligence thoughts, you are practicing. Yes, Smita ji, yes. Smita ji, thank you so much for the response and being honest, and that is something, which I always cherish a lot in people. We get influenced by the thoughts of others, and that is one point, which will right now come ahead, as we move ahead with the presentation. Yes. Meena ji says no. Okay, none of you actually. Raki ji, if you can just suggest me the method you use, or maybe anything, which you try to do for regulating your emotions, it would be really great. But for the rest of you, no, right? Again, see, that is the problem right here. You have to understand that why emotional intelligence is such an important term. I know most of you might not even have heard of the term, but if you have, go and search on Google. Don't listen to Harsha, don't listen to me. Okay, you go and search on Google emotional intelligence and its importance in today's life of a teacher, of a student, of an individual. You will get articles, you will get blogs, you will get researches on it, and so many books on it. It's because it's something, which is very very essential, at the core. All right. Now, how to exercise self awareness? We have certain pointers right here on the screen. All right. Identifying your emotions and what are you feeling. And some basic questions, which I thought you can ask yourself is, what emotions do you experience each day? Don't you think you all need to ask such kind of questions to yourself to understand what is happening with your emotions? How are you lashing out on people? Which is the way you are behaving, right? Also, another very important thing is, whenever you speak, if I am the speaker of this particular webinar, I always watch the recordings of my webinars as well. Why I do that is to become self aware. Right now, when I'm speaking this topic to you, I think I'm speaking it in the bestest of manner, and nobody is a better speaker than me. Yeah, I'm thinking that. But after I watch the recordings, I realize, that there's so many gaps that can be corrected for the next webinar. That is how I have, over the period of 8 or 9 months, of me taking the webinars, in various schools and places and in the online mode, I have realized, that these are my gaps and I have to correct these gaps. Maybe the perspective, maybe my perspective is something different, but the perspective of the other hundreds of people on call is completely different, because you are the listeners, right? So you are someone who will criticize and judge me. It's not me. Again, something which can help all of you to become self aware is to get back to what you have done, right? Take feedback. Have the practice of taking a weekly feedback from your students. It's very important. Tell them to criticize you if they want. There's no hard and fast rule to just praise you every time. Tell them there's no grudges which will be holded against them. Okay, feedback is very important. Anyways, the first method of identifying your emotions and what are you feeling is to know कि anger hai, fear hai, sadness hai, joy hai. What is it my mind is feeling? Maybe right now I'm feeling dull. Am I dull because of anger? Am I dull because of the fight I had with my husband or wife? Am I dull because of the way my child spoke to me in this morning? Am I dull because of my schoolwork and tiredness, and maybe not because of those things? Or am I dull because I'm angry inside and I'm not able to take my anger out on anybody? There's nobody to take my anger out on. Emotions, you have to understand, if I feel every day the same way, why am I feeling it? And believe me when I say this will not come by thinking. You have to sit with a journal or a pen and a paper to understand and connect your emotions. Think is what is very important. How often do you listen to your body? If your body is facing some pain, right? It happens. There's a term in psychology which says that when you experience something on a psychological level, your body also starts enacting the same. Maybe you will get certain breathing problems when you are angry. It happens in the brain on a psyche level, but your body also starts reacting to it. The body becomes warm. The blood starts flowing in our veins, our face becomes red. Nobody tells your body to do it. The body always reacts to the emotions which you have. If you are happy, our face starts glowing. Our body starts, the body language is very different as it is in different emotions. So you have to understand, if you're behaving in a certain manner with people, if this is your body language at home, if this is the emotion you are experiencing, question yourself, question your body language, question your emotions. What causes negative emotions? What brings you positivity? What makes you happy? If watching a Netflix documentary or series every day makes you happy, watch it. Who is stopping you? If going out and touring with your friends makes you happy, do it on a weekday, plan it. Even if you don't have time, take out time for yourself. You have to do something for yourself as well, right? Very important. So the first step is to identify what is happening to me. That is the first question. Second, recognizing your primary coping mechanisms. You have to understand, if I am triggered emotionally, if I am surprised, if I am facing sadness, if I am facing anxiety, I'm having breathing problems because of anxiety, how to regulate my emotions. I know this emotion is very, very common in me. So what do? Maybe I use a stress ball, right? Many people use it. Maybe I use a stress ball. Maybe I use a pen and a paper, and use the pen for scribbling, which helps me to ward off my anxiety. Maybe I use, maybe some people overeat. If you know it, if you have read articles, some people overeat when they are anxious. Maybe eating helps me to ward off my anxiety. Maybe playing games helps me to ward off my anxiety. Some people, have you seen, okay, I want all of you to see me on screen right now, my camera. Some people do this, with their hands when they are anxious, this. Did you see it? Rubbing the nails of both the hands together. Some people do it, when they're very anxious, or when they, go into deep thinking, right? So again, you have to understand that these are the things which happens to me on a daily basis. And what is my coping mechanism? What should I do to cope with it? I can't allow the anxiety to go on and on, right? So coping mechanism, you have to develop your own mechanism, or you have to find out one. um, okay, how many of you on call have watched Money Heist? It is a series on Netflix. I'm not sure how many of you have watched it. How many of you have watched Money Heist? It's a series on Netflix, very very famous. Money Heist. I'm not sure if you have watched it, but yeah. Um, okay, there are some people. All right. If some of you have watched Money Heist, have you seen the professor? He uses origami papers all the time. Whenever he thinks, whenever he becomes anxious. Yeah, the origami papers. You remember he uses. That is again a kind of emotional regulation, which he practiced in the series. Just giving this example because I think most of you, will connect with the same. So yeah, that origami paper practice is again something, which is a coping mechanism. All right, in Money Heist. I could just think of, one series, but yeah, there can be many. So yeah, that is the second step. Okay. Third step, defining your own beliefs and without being influenced by others. Again, someone mentioned this point earlier, in chat, that you get influenced by other people's thought. Seeing this picture right here on the screen, you have to be very confident, about what you believe is what you believe, and what you believe is rational or irrational. If you're confident what you believe is rational, chuck it what other people think. Okay, you have to just take it out of your mind. Let other people say, let other people think, doesn't matter, right? You have to be strong mentally to not let your emotions overcome, your beliefs. That is what it means, to define your beliefs, very strongly, and not get influenced by others. Maybe my core value is integrity, right? Someone might come and tell me that integrity and all, oh, doesn't matter at all. Invest money right here. It's an easy way of earning money, though it's not very legal, but again, everybody does it. Just give an example. So if my core value is integrity, okay, uh, uh, someone saying these kind of things to me can make me think a little that, okay, yeah, I can do this, but maybe it doesn't go with my principle, right? So again, third thing is, defining your own boundaries and emotions. Anita ji, definitely agreed. It's easier said than done. Since it's hard to do, ma'am, that is the one reason, we have so many sessions and so many webinars on the same topics. Again, everything is hard, before you do it, but you have to practice it, as I already told you before in the webinar. That practicing it what makes you perfect. You can't do emotional regulation, self awareness, task, or practice in just 1 hour or one day. You have to sit 6 months or 7 months. You have to write down things, you have to think upon things and improve little by little. You might think in the 6 7 months that no change is there, but when you compare your own journal, or when your own notebook, that, oh, 7 months back I was like this. Oh my god, I've improved so much in the last 7 months. That is how it happens. That is how it happened with me, right? Exactly. Do try it. It's just a monthly activity. I know it's tiresome, it's cumbersome, but if you really want to do it, I think you have to give it time. Compounding is a very important principle, in investing and in life as well. You need to give time to things, to show the results to you. Okay. Okay. Pariji says we should understand our competencies and skills, not like others. Definitely. How can you control your anger against higher authority when you are very stressful? Geeta ji, definitely, definitely. See, I think this is a situation, Geeta ji, with most of the teachers or faculties, might be facing, right? Control your anger against, higher authority, or something like that. But again, as I said, you have to develop your own mechanism, Geeta ji. If let's say origami paper, as I gave the example of Money Heist, works for you. So again, how do you know whether something works for you or not? Trial and error principle. If I know I like tea right now, right? If I know I like tea is because I drank the tea and tried the taste first, right? अगर मैं टी को ट्राई ही नहीं करूंगी, if I don't try coffee and how it tastes, how will I know whether it's something I like or not? So to control your anger and to decide which mechanism works for you, you have to try out various things. That, okay, Maybe sitting and breathing, helps me, to control my anger. Maybe, fiddling with my hands, helps me to control my anger. Maybe, diverting from the topic, a little helps me to control my anger. Maybe telling the other person straight out loud that, ma'am, sir, I'm facing a little, emotional setback as of now. I just want 2 minutes and I'll get back to you. Maybe you go to the washroom for 2 minutes, and come back to the topic, again with the higher authority and talk to them, calmly. Take your time, figure out what works for you. Don't sit angry कि गुस्सा आ रहा है तो आ रहा है. Don't sit angry. If you are angry, work on your anger. It's high time that you work on your anger, right? See, the way you are born is not your mistake, okay? But the way you die is totally in your hands. So die a better person is what I'm trying to just say right here. There's a lot of time in our hands, in your hands, in my hand. Figure out ways which can control your emotions, control your anger. It's not tough. Once you can't, twice you can't, thrice you can't, but the fourth time, if you try, at least you can, a little, at least you can do, maybe 1%. Maybe the fifth time, it becomes 2%. Right? Exactly. Introspect is very important, Zarinji, as you said. You have to figure out your own ways, what works for you. Every person is different. Every person's anger is different, and the things which work for different people are also different. If right now I have an Android phone with me, it's because I like Android. Maybe for some people Android doesn't work and they buy an Apple phone or an iPhone. Maybe for some people even iPhone doesn't work. For my grandpa and grandma, they use a small Nokia phones, the keypad phones, because that is what works for them. Similarly, you have to figure out your own way what works for you. Okay, moving ahead quickly, since we don't have a lot of time. Oh my god, it's 7:51. All right. Prioritizing what gives you joy and purpose. And with each of the slide, I also have certain questions which you can practice, on a weekly or on a monthly basis to understand, what's happening to you, what are the changes, you are facing, right? Very important for self-awareness. What gives you joy and purpose? What do you prioritize in your daily life? What do you put above your joy? Maybe for most of the parents, the teachers who are parents on call, the answer can be your children or your work, which gives you joy, right? So you prioritize it over the other things. Okay, so again, you have to understand. So the steps we discussed right now is pehle, understand what is the emotion I am facing. How do I regulate my emotion? Third is, what is my coping mechanism? Fourth is, what are the things which works for me? Fifth is, how do I prioritize, what gives me happiness, and maybe I can stay happy, and give a good vibe to others as well. The next point is to identify your shortcomings, and your strengths. Once you know this is my strength, you can make it more stronger. Once you know this is my weakness, you can work on it, and after 4 months, when you do the self awareness questionnaire practice again, you will come to know, oh my god, 4 months back I didn't have the skill of, calligraphy, but right now if I see, I'm a very good calligrapher. Oh my god, I developed a good skill. I can do more. It motivates, it helps. Try it, then only you will know. Trial and error is the principle you have to adopt as a human being, right? Learn to watch things, learn to do things which you didn't plan for is something very important. Very, very important. Something which I learned in life very late. But speaking of it again, please keep your mind open to see things, to understand things, to learn about things which you haven't planned for. Watch new videos, watch random videos on YouTube, Netflix, Prime. Maybe you didn't plan for it, but watch it. At least you will get to criticize it later. No, at least watch it. No, there's no problem, right? Learn to keep yourself open to things and people. Very important, actually. Again, knowing what you need in your relationships, that's something very, very important. If you are in a romantic relationship, in a friendship relationship, in a teacher student relationship, you have to know what you need from there. Let's say I as a teacher demand respect as the first thing from my students. I as a partner in my marital or intimate relationship, the first thing I demand again is self respect. To maintain self respect, on both the sides of the parties, right? Very important again. So you have to keep these kind of things, in mind, when you visit or when you go anywhere. A person who is aware themselves, a person who has a control on themselves, can control anything in this world. Actually, it's a fair point. They can control anything. The great businessmen are not great because they are born different. The great businessmen and the great people are also with two hands and two legs and one brain. but they have something different which we don't have. They have regulation in their emotions. That is why they are able to put their brains, into thousand different things at once with the same calmness. All right. And then again, the last thing is recognize when and how to trust yourself, right? Sometimes you might think that, oh my God, no, my decision is the best. What I have said is the best. But it might not be the, correct assessment, right? From your perspective, your decisions are best. But from the other person's perspective, maybe the decisions are very, very illogical, and it doesn't make any sense at all. Keep yourself open to criticisms. Know when to trust yourself and when not to trust yourself. Very important, teachers. Okay. Again, I think this is all from my end, for today. Right. I will soon send the certificate or the attendance form for the day after 5 to 10 minutes. But before that, just a small, saying or quote, from my end is, only when a teacher or a mentor is self-regulated and self-aware themselves, they can deal with the people on the outside and discover their full potential. Since every mentor, every teacher on call has multiple roles to play in their daily lives, emotional regulation stands at the top for all of them. And do keep yourself open to things. Even if you don't want to watch a video, you don't want to listen to someone, force yourself to listen once. Maybe you start liking them, right? It's very important. Okay. That is all from my end. And yeah, again, this session basically focused, a lot on teachers, and as an individual, how can you cater to oneself? And I also gave you a questionnaire link to practice. Do it once. Sit for 2 hours, 3 hours. Do it once. You will discover things about your own self, which you never thought about. It happened with me. It happened with my some of my friends. It happened with my dad. It can happen with you as well. Okay. And again, okay, as we already know, again, diverting a little from the topic, as we already know that the homework app, is the one who has been the collaborator, behind the session and to deliver these amazing sessions to all of you. This application also has certain new features, which are in very much tandem to the NEP which the CBSE board is implementing, right? So as we know that the National Education Policy 2020 is there, and CBSE has been implementing NEP, and now 40% of the questions will be competency based. So the application is working towards the same, and the other things like the case study questions, the assertion based questions, etc., which basically follows the NEP and the CBSE, pattern for the boards. All right. Just let me present my screen. Just give me 1 minute, and I'll quickly present my screen. Okay. Let me read the comments. There are loads of feedback actually. Oh my God, thank you so much, everyone. Means a lot, means a lot. I'll have more such sessions if you want, on psychology and emotions. There's so many things, which can be talked about. But yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's so many things which can be talked about. So yeah, thank you. Oh my God, awesome comments today. I'm happy. All right, quickly, I'm presenting my screen. Screen. Yep. And the screen sharing starts right now. Okay. एक बार, can you all confirm if you all can see my screen? My phone screen basically. I hope you all can see. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for the comment. Thank you. All right. So as I already said, that CBSE, as you know, is implementing NEP, that is National Education Policy 2020, and NEP has a basic or specific pattern for the question papers. Right now, it's very important to make use of the applications which give you all of the things CBSE is trying to implement free of cost, and which is handy, and which can be used in the offline, online, or the hybrid mode, right? The homework app is one such application. Why? The first thing, it is working with the team of experts towards the competency based questions, which is coming very, very soon. And right now it has competency based questions in the form of gamified quizzes, assertion based questions, and also in the form of the case study based questions for all the classes. Now the first thing which we are going to see right now is yeah, let's see about the interactive quiz option. Okay, if you go on the application, you will see an option as interactive quiz. What is interactive quiz in short? It's a gamified version of a quiz which helps the student to focus more, right? And to focus in depth, whenever you give them any work. Right now, this particular section is designed for class 10 and class 9. But soon, more classes will be on the application, very, very soon. Now you can see the screen is so delightful and joyful, right? You can see right here. Okay, so let's say if I go to mathematics, and if I open standard 10, right, I see the chapter as real numbers, and let's say chapter 1 is real numbers. I go to the interactive quiz to boost, understanding of proofs by contradiction method, the topic which you see on my screen right now. Yeah. So we can click on, let's say, if you want to share it on WhatsApp, just click on share on WhatsApp, and your students will see, the quiz on WhatsApp. Now, if you want to see, when you share the same on WhatsApp, or anywhere else, you will see how the students, when they click on the link after sharing, how they see the same, right? So when you click, when the students click on the link you share on WhatsApp, they will basically see the quiz screen like this, and you click on the play button. Now, when you click on the play button, you will see, that it something comes like this. Okay, the contradiction part and the proofs by contradiction part 1 and part 2, right? I click on play. Okay, and you can see the countdown, 3 2 1. So you see the explanation and you see the countdown, and then appears the question on the screen. Okay, see, the first thing which comes is, the application will explain you, how contradiction works, and the explanation for the same. So any student who is trying to attempt any of the chapters or this particular quiz can also revise the topic before attempting the quiz. So you revise the topic before attempting the quiz like this. You can see all the examples, and it's so just joyous and colorful, right? After this, you click on got it, go to questions. All right. As a student, I'll see on my screen the first question right here. And then again, I'll click on, let's say, one option as false, but it was true and I did it wrong. So the application will show you, that it was wrong and there are no points and things like this. You can see on the screen how it appears. It will show you points, badges, certain memes, on your screen, will be coming. And then this is how basically, the interactive or gamified quiz works, right? Again, don't leave the webinar, please. I'll share the certificate link very soon after the demo. Okay. All right. So right now we just saw, the interactive quiz version, of the application. Now, let's say if I am a standard 10 teacher, right? I'm a standard 10 teacher and I want to create my own class for giving them questions like competency based questions, case study based questions, and other reasoning questions, right? So what will I do is I'll go to the class section of the application, and after that I'll click on add section or new class. Okay, so let's say I click on the option of new class, which is at the right top of my screen. And when I click on new class, you can see that, okay, I have an option to select a class right here. I select class 10th. And then I have a subject. I select mathematics. Let's select CBSC. And then I have medium as English. Yeah. And then I click on continue. Okay. My class, let's say my section is A and my class strength is, let's say, 50 students. I click on tick. I click on done. A standard 10 mathematics class section A with strength 50 has been quickly created by the application in just 10 seconds. After you create the class, the same will also be visible to you on the screen, as you can see. You click on 10A, you can you click on 10A, you can find lakhs and lakhs of questions, for 10th based on, the NEP, and the CBSC, pattern, right? So I click on, let's say, use question banks. Okay, when I click on use question banks, you can see all kind of books and topics which are available in the application. The homework app right now has 7 to 8 lakh plus pre-typed questions for all the subjects and all the topics from all the books, practice sets, etc. From standard 1 to standard 10, 11th and 12th are still under development. Let's say I want case study questions. Sending you the link, everyone. Just give me 2 more minutes and I'll send you the link. Okay, just give me 2 more minutes, please. Just cooperate 2 more minutes. I promise I'll send you the link after that. Okay, so I click on the case study question bank right here, right? Let's say for standard 10 mathematics, the class which I created, I need a case study. Okay, so case studies ke liye, I click this particular book, and then you go to any of the chapters right here, and you can see the case study question. So I select linear equation. I get the case study questions for linear equations right here on my screen. Okay, you can see the various case study questions, for linear equations which are coming. It's so nice, with all the pictures and graphs, which are given by the application itself, right? All you have to do is just add, right? After adding the questions, we can review our questions from the bottom of the screen, the total questions, as you can see. And after reviewing the questions, if you are satisfied that, okay, these are the two questions I want to give to my students, you can click on the next option. Okay. You click on the next option. You can set the day, time, whenever you want the particular homework, to be submitted or to end for the student. And then you can click on create homework. Okay. After clicking on create homework, you can tap on the share homework option. All right. In the share homework option, it's very, very important that you have to understand that you can use the WhatsApp as well to share the homework, and you can copy paste the link anywhere, as well you want. Let's say I've copied the link. Okay. I can share on WhatsApp. I already know it. But let's say right now I want to, send the particular message, to someone, from the, a message option as well. So you can just copy paste the link, and send, something like this, to anybody you want. You can copy paste the link of the homework and paste it in Google Classroom, Zoom, Google Meet, anywhere. Even in the offline classes, you can just, copy paste the link, anywhere you want. You can see how, I have sent the message, to students on WhatsApp, and on chat as well. Students will see the message like this. And after you click on the link to homework, okay, clicking on the link to homework, you will see that, a particular homework, opens on Google Chrome or any other browser they are using. On clicking the next option, I use my class code, etc. You can also click on the skip option for here. Okay. And yeah, I enter my phone number quickly here for attending the homework. Next. Okay. I enter my phone number quickly. I click on the next option, right? An OTP will come on my homework, on my phone number to basically attend the homework. All right. Okay. Just 5169, the verification. Okay. I'll type the OTP and you will see that after that, I can see the homework for 10th day Harsha Agarwal, which I just sent, to my classroom. Okay. I'll confirm. Okay. And then I'll see my homework screen. All right. So as you can see the homework screen right now, you can see the homework right here, case study question, start now. Can you see pending assignments? I click on the pending assignment of case study questions and quickly it will take me to the next page. That is my homework page. So you can see the two case study questions, which you sent as a teacher to the student via WhatsApp, via messages, via Google Meet, Zoom, offline class, hybrid mode. It's right here. You can see with the options, right? Various questions are given inside the case study and the case study number 2 is here. Okay. So this is basically how, the homework apps, generating homework in 30 seconds and sharing the same works. Now, after the student attempts the same, okay, teachers can also view, the statistics, how many students have submitted, how many students have not submitted in the application itself. Okay. So I'll just show you, just give me 1 minute. Okay. See the statistics right here. When you return to the application, you can see the statistics as well. कि कितने student ने submit किया है, how many didn't submit it, etc. etc. All right. So you can see the submissions. Okay, how many submissions are there to be corrected, or which are corrected. You can see the submissions page. As of now, I have no submissions, right? You can see the reports as well. An application which also allows you to create automatic report for your students. Yeah. So again, not only it helps you to create the question and share with students, but also create, a dashboard for each and every student personal level. And you can download the same and share on WhatsApp, email, anywhere you want. That is, basically a wonderful, wonderful application to use, for all the mediums, actually, online, offline, etc. So anyways, I think that's more, about, that what can you use in today's world, to connect more with yourself. And then we talked about, what is important, and one of the basic tools which can be used in classes, and very essential for the CBSE and NEP background, right? Again, these are some pointers for the homework app, which you all can see on the screen. If there are any new joinees, you can take screenshot of the same. And I will also quickly share the attendance link with all of you, right? Just give me 1 second and I'll share the attendance link with all of you right now. Just give me one second. Okay, I'm sharing the attendance link. So I really hope you enjoyed today's webinar and you learned, something useful out of it. I really hope that you will implement the same as well, whenever you get the time. You will do the self-awareness exercise and to know yourself more. before the upcoming webinar. Yeah. And yeah, see you again, in my next webinar, which will be on Friday. Just a minute. Which will either be tomorrow or on Friday or Saturday. So yeah. Okay, sharing the attendance link in just a minute. Fill it by 7:20 p.m. Okay, because after that the team will not accept any more responses. So yeah, you have to fill it by 7:20 p.m. Yeah, here's the feedback link or the attendance. Oh yeah, 8:20. I'm very sorry. 8:20. Yes, very sorry, very sorry. 8:20 p.m. Right. Yeah, 8:20 p.m. I'm very sorry. Fill it by 8:20 p.m. All right. This is the feedback form link or the attendance form link. You'll get your certificates within 24 hours via email. All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. Yeah. So these are certain pointers about the homework app, that you all can have a look. And yeah, if you aren't a user of the application, I have to tell it's a wonderful application, always working towards building a community of excellent people, excellent teachers and students. Again, something which I want to convey to you is about the Smart Teacher Festival, which the Homework App and team is conducting. All you have to do is join the WhatsApp group. Okay, so when you fill the form for today, there will be a join the WhatsApp group option at the end of the form. Join the WhatsApp group to participate in the Smart Teacher Festival, which will give you an opportunity to earn Smart Teacher Certificate, Gold, Silver, Bronze, and win a kit worth rupees 1,999, right? So again, something which is of interest to all of you, I think. And yeah, do join the WhatsApp group, as I always say, during the end, of filling the form. All right. Link I already sent in the chat box. So I'll send again. Here is the link. Everyone, fill by 8:20 p.m. After that, the team will not accept any more responses. And yeah, as you can see on the screen, the details for the Smart Teacher Festival, you can do it by joining the WhatsApp group, which is basically by a button coming at the end of the feedback form, which you are filling right now. Okay. All right, fill the form. And yeah, the next in line is the art of storytelling. Next webinar we are going to have on this particular topic, that is the art of storytelling. Do join the webinar, and I hope to see you all there. Yeah, if you are done, you can leave the call. And yes, hope to see you in the next webinar. Everyone, thank you so much. Yes, Madhumita ji, session will be there on the YouTube channel of the Homework App.